the other side is stupid. It's that the other side is evil. They're bad. And it starts to feel a lot more like religion, like that sort of one way to kind of capture that moralized feeling, right? It's kind of like religious sects. And so we got to this idea of sectarianism, right? That it's like we have these two parties that it's like this fight in this civil religion.
When it comes to a lot of disinformation, but sort of the disinformation associated with outrage in particular, is that it's really not even about whether the facts are wrong or right. So you can give all kinds of accounts that don't even use false facts at all, but nevertheless severely misrepresent the state of the world. And what you're usually misrepresenting is the moral character of your political opponents. And that sort of has two effects. One is that it sort of moves the discussion entirely beyond fact. So fact checking is beside the point. And the other thing is that it really gives it this moral charge. And the implications of that are that people are going to become very emotionally invested because we invest our moral beliefs with strong emotions. And these are the sorts of emotions that'll both make you more resistant to accepting counter evidence to your beliefs and also more hostile towards people who hold different beliefs to you.
I mean, we all can do our part. Someone can go have coffee with someone else. But in the end, it's all of us on the ground that need to do our part to slow things down, to recognize the humanity of others, and to have, what might be a difficult conversation that we might be a little bit uneasy having.
People who have seen the project or read about it, friends and people that I don't know, and they're so earnest, and they'll email and say, boy, we need this. I'm so glad you're doing this. This is great, because they are ruining the country.
Right.
And actually that phrase, and this is why we feel like the index is helpful, because as our co-founder, Tim Shriver, will say, we designed a tool to measure others. And what we found is that it's a mirror that reflects ourselves.
What we see in our country is so much divisiveness and so much animosity and so much of a willingness and almost desire to fight, that the tools that I have found and the experience that I've had as a psychotherapist, if we could understand that we could actually bring those to ourselves as a country, we could begin to heal some of these divides. My understanding from all the work that I've done is that we're actually all affected by it, and certainly some people more than others.
Again, I always preface this by saying that there's no, those kind of fake ads you see online, one weird trick to lose, melt fat or whatever. Like that it doesn't exist for those fake ads. It doesn't exist for this, right? There's not just some sort of little thing you're going to do that's going to magically solve this animosity. Again, it's about, kind of lowering the temperature of the debate, right, away from maybe very high levels. And, another thing I talk about in the book is that there's some divides you shouldn't really bridge, right? There are some times where it's like, no, animosity can be a good thing, right? Because it's highlighting that these are real and meaningful policy consequences.
There's been a long-standing debate in depolarization world about what would a world where depolarization work was no longer needed, what would that look like? And a lot of people say that's a world without conflict. That's a world where we've solved all the major conflicts and everybody gets along and is happy all the time and agrees on their 50% plus one solutions on most issues and doesn't fight each other acrimoniously. And human nature being what it is, good luck finding that. I happen to very strongly believe that something resembling depolarization style trust building is something that benefits any conflict zone in any social circumstance whatsoever.
That kind of absolute, recite democratic norms as if they were absolute, kind of, respect free and fair elections, renounce violence, obey court rulings, etc. But all these norms only hold if you really think that the other side respects them as well. We respect elections as long as we think they are not rigged. We respect Supreme Court rulings as long as we think that the Supreme Court is not just a bunch of partisan hacks, etc. So really the whole edifice of democracy and kind of the set of norms that holds it together is based on this expectation of mutuality. We play fair, you play fair, and we get along. And when this unravels, it's really difficult to see the bounds.
Each election is just a little bit more effort from your side, a little bit more getting out the vote, a little bit more persuading people in the middle, like fractional, might tip power in the White House, might tip power in the Senate or in the House of Representatives. Well, there's a lot of good political science on this stuff in the last 5-10 years. And what it says is things get crazy.